Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for NCAA basketball as the visiting Blue of Millikin come to town to take on the Firebirds of Carthage College. Hello everybody off the chilly lakefront of Lake Michigan in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm Peter Ferreri alongside my broadcast colleague this season, Eric Elger. Eric, conference play has been an up and down battle for the Millikin Big Blue. They are 2-2 in conference play. However, 1-0 away from home as we look at the standings thus far. Carthage just that hair behind Carroll right now. That loss to Carroll looms large. That happened earlier in the season. But ever since that loss, Carthage has been on an absolute tear. As we mentioned, though, Millikin a hair behind. If Millikin comes away and steals one in Kenosha, that'll really flip up the standings.
Yeah, Millikin coming off a big victory against North Central, and they really played one of their best games of the season. They won 80-69. That was on Wednesday night, as we see where they rank. And you know, you take a look at some of their CCIW rankings and kind of on the lower end of most of these statistics, but really what it was about on Wednesday night, they shot 55% from the field, and again, 59% from the three-point line. So, you know, you can kind of throw some of those stats out of the window, because if the Big Blue bring that kind of shooting here this afternoon, it's going to be a tough matchup for Carthage.
Looking at where things have landed as we are getting ready for national anthem and the introductions. Again, a huge thing for the Firebirds. They're holding their opponents to only 54 points a game in the season. That's first place in the CCIW.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the emphasis on the defense and how much that trap can cause a lot of havoc, and you know, they like to turn the ball over, speed other teams up, and yeah, I mean, with the best defense in the CCIW, they've really leaned on that. And on the other side of the ball for the offense, led by Emma Thistle, who as of today leads the CCIW at 4.8 assists per game, and not only that, is third in assist to turnover ratio. So Emma Carlson having a great season, not only dishing it out, but taking care of the ball as well.
Yeah, and when you look at where things are on the rebound side, I mean, just everything first, second. And again, that Carroll game we mentioned, if that script was flipped and they were on top, there'd be no doubt that Carthage is absolutely one of the top tier teams. And I think something to be said, if you look at what happened after that loss to Carroll, Carthage has done nothing but win ever since then. They have not lost since that game, the 4th of December, so over a month now of nothing but winning.
Yeah, I think if you look at, you know, what lessons might have been learned against that Carroll, and on Wednesday night when Carthage came out on top against Elmhurst, there's a moment in the game where it was really close, and it was kind of a back and forth affair, and then really in the fourth quarter, Carthage leaned on that CCIW first-ranked defense and really put the clamps on Elmhurst to, you know, they really shut them down in that fourth quarter, and that's what kind of led to that victory. And that's a lesson I think they kind of learned from Carroll, where some of that defense wasn't there down the stretch, and that's how they lost that game. So it's good to see that that team has really kind of flipped that and, you know, got a big win last Wednesday.
Yeah, you may say to yourself, all right, well, if we look at the overall record, Millikin 3-10 overall, but 2 out of those 3 wins came in conference play, and there's so much value and weight in that being said, because they played such a tough non-conference schedule that albeit the results didn't go their way, they said, okay, well, if we make it as challenging as possible when we hit conference play, we're going to be ready. And as you mentioned in our pregame conversation, the fact that they have been so lights out from the outside, and it's been a challenge for Carthage from the outside, this game is going to be dictated beyond the arc.
Yeah, both guards for the Big Blue love to shoot the three. If you look at Brenison and Block, they're 2 seniors who are up in the top 10 of CCIW in three-pointers made per game. So yes, I mean, it's one of those things, like, if you can stay hot and make a lot of those threes, and Carthage again struggled last game, you know, that could be a turning point in this game.
Just about to be underway here, the Big Blue Firebirds, critical, crucial conference matchup. Again, it's also a doubleheader on a Saturday afternoon from Tarble Arena in Kenosha. Stepping aside now to Justin Corrigan and the PA team to bring you into this contest.
Coaches, staff, and fans, and welcome to Tarble Arena for today's CCIW women's basketball game between the visiting Millikin University Big Blue and your Carthage drink over the coffin of Captain Frank Bevering, a former Carthage student who died in Vietnam in 1970. The flag is a gift to the college from his parents. In remembering Captain Bevering, we pay tribute to all who have sacrificed their lives for our country and honor those who today put themselves in harm's way in service to America. We ask that you please rise if you are able and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem by the Carthage College Pep Band. Starting lineups. First of the visiting Big Blue of Millikin University. At guard, a 5'6" senior from Coralville, Iowa, number 7, Matthias Ellis. At forward, a 6-foot senior from Sullivan, Illinois, number 10, Emily White. At guard, a 5'7" senior from Philo, Illinois, number 13, Kylie Locke. At guard, a 5'8" sophomore from Sullivan, Illinois, number 21, Izzy Hay. At guard, a 5'11" senior from Springfield, Illinois, number 30, Emily Britnison. The head coach of the Big Blue is Kirsten Hammer. Coach Hammer is assisted by Mallory Liebel and Bill Dogan. All right, Firebird fans, make some noise. It's showtime.
Welcome into the broadcast. Alongside Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. Hello and have a happy Saturday on us. live on the Firebird Broadcasting Network on YouTube this afternoon. It's a doubleheader against the Big Blue of Millikin, starting with the women's side of things. Malia Green, number 10, Carlson's going to be your forward alongside Knebel and Morrissey. Emma Thistle, your starting one, as this has been the consistent starting five for the Firebirds all season. Carthage going to be wearing the home whites with red numbers and letters, black trim. The Big Blue in their visiting blues, white numbers and letters with a lighter blue trim around that. So, if you have not joined us so far this season, stand by the next 15 seconds. Morrissey drives, shoots, misses, foul, going to the line, 5 seconds.
I love how we preview it, and then that goes on, and sure enough, Carthage is breaking to the other end in 5 seconds, and they couldn't connect on the layup this time, but Morrissey to the free throw line. She'll cash these in. It'll be just as good.
Morrissey for the first free throw, bounces and just misses. Mariana Morrissey, the talk of the town this week, hit her 1,000th career point on Wednesday, as we like to say up here in the booth, the future Carthage Hall of Famer, and misses the second one as well. Can also say how free throws have been a challenge for this Carthage team this season. They have, come away fairly unscathed just with the high pressure defense, more possessions than the other team have yielded in more wins. Poked away at the last second, but kept up. Big Blue now. So for all intents and purposes, if both free throws were made, it would have been the start that the Firebirds have had many times this season. Man-to-man defense right now for the Firebirds, under 10 seconds remaining. Driving in, looking for the kick, the pump fake. From the elbow, shot clock expires. Carlson might have had a block, but just like that, Big Blue's first possession, nobody could come away with it, and the defense stands tall for Carthage.
There's that first in defense, CCIW defense there for the Firebirds, getting a 30-second shot clock violation right on the first possession, really setting a tone defensively here early.
Carlson looks for the cut-in. A lot of these basketball players in attendance last night supporting the volleyball team in their doubleheader season opening victories. One of the best teams in the nation. This Carthage team trying to find their way. Malia Green with the right-hand floater as time was about to expire, so still scoreless. Just over a minute into the contest. Getting the start as well for the Big Blue is Izzy Hay, along with her number 10, Emily White, number 30, Emily Brenison. Driving in, floater right hand, and good is the aforementioned pride of Sacred Heart Griffin High School in Springfield, Illinois, Brenison.
Yeah, she's really, a lot of the offense goes through her, and she takes a huge responsibility in the offensive end, and there you can see, you got to respect her three-point shot, pump fake, and get into the hole.
Driving in is Carlson. That'll be a tough matchup underneath. Number 21, Izzy Hay, matched up against Carlson. Taken away by Blue. Bringing it up the court is your point guard out of Coralville, Iowa, Mattia Tellis.
Yeah, and not to also there, and just I was just about to say, Kylie Block likes to put it up from three-point line too, and there she's getting a shot off. Unfortunate for the Big Blue, she wasn't able to connect.
Morrissey cuts in. Knebel likes to start that offense from the outside, a movement-based offense. Knebel tries to get the screen, not able to do so. Thistle able to pass off. Carlson gets that double team, swatted from below, potential jump ball, and a foul's going to be called. So swiped away at the prior moment. Carlson hits the ground, but then the follow-up by Big Blue causes another foul.
Yeah, you can see the tapes out on Emma Carlson. You can see Millikin kind of blitzed her with a double team there and almost got the steal. And, fortunately for Carlson, she was able to get out there and get the foul and start the possession over again.
Millikin coming off a victory, 80-69 against conference foe North Central College. Morrissey looks for the crossover. Didn't fool the Blue. Carlson drives in strong with the right hand and gets the first points of the game for the Firebirds.
Not something you see her do a lot is driving to the basket like that, but she's still got some quickness and, what an athlete to get to the basket there and lay it up strong with the right hand.
Looking for the bounce pass. able to find the penetration, fadeaway, rims out, no good. Nikel Johnson recently checked into the game from Kankakee. They wanted her to match up against Carlson down low, power versus power.
Yeah, Millikin likes what they've seen out of the freshman Nicole Johnson so far, and actually she's leading the team in points per game. Hasn't played as many games as some of her teammates, but yeah, she has a lot of talent, and if you're a big Blue fan, you gotta like what you've seen out of her this season so far.
So again, Millikin coming off a win this past Wednesday, 80-69. That was at home in Decatur, but prior to that, their last victory was at North Park, December the 7th, a 67-57 victory. Shot up and good. So their last 2 wins were both conference victories. Prior to that, they started the season with an overtime win against Rose Hullman. That was a home starter game on a Monday. Rose is a school that the Firebirds have played against before in a multitude of sports. So 3-2 your score. Firebirds with that 1-point lead. So not the hot start for either team on the offensive side, kind of feeling each other out. Orozco checks into the game and already has an impact. She had a huge game on Wednesday again when the Firebirds were shooting at a low percentage. Orozco came in and did what needed to be done. However, Blue, steal, layup, good. Nice job by number 10, Emily White out of Sullivan, Illinois. Millikin back on top.
Yeah, Millikin, a heavy senior-led team, and there's just a senior getting in the passing lane, taking it coast to coast.
So Big Blue able to beat the press thus far. I don't want to necessarily say with ease, but that was kind of as that pass goes errant and out of play. Another sub coming in for Big Blue, but I think it bears mentioning that one of the challenges that Carthage had on Wednesday, again, they came out with a 10-point victory against Elmhurst, but Elmhurst just went pure pedal to the metal, and that was the way they were able to break the press. Not that they shot at a high enough field goal percentage, because Carthage and their defense still didn't allow a lot of shots. Carlson high off the glass and good. What a transfer for Coach Jones to take over that 5 spot.
That's your CCIW field goal percentage leader, and she's 2 for 2 today, and you can see why. And what an assignment for the freshman. Welcome to the CCIW, Nicole Johnson. Now you got to go against a grad transfer like Emma Carlson. Is a nice basket there. Nice drive by Bella Dudley.
Dudley out of Brockton, Illinois.
And that's what's been impressive for Carlson is just, how many nights has she had? It's just like 6 of 8 from the field, 8, 9, 10 rebounds. It's almost like you can set your watch to it.
Carlson goes up, not able to get there. Morrissey goes up strong after the offensive board. No foul called. Pushing the pace quickly for Big Blue, Tatum Young out of Lake Forest Academy. Young hands off underneath, floater up, no good. Punch in the air like a volleyball. Long range 3, good if it goes. Front iron, no good. Another offensive rebound. Firebirds need to find their spacing underneath the basket, allowing multitudes of second chance points right now for Blue. Up strong with the left hand. What a layup. Bryn Eisen, the pride of Brockton.
Yeah, just stretching with the left hand to get around Wamser, and Wamser's got a lot of length, and that's tough to get a shot off, and effective at doing it. And there's the Big Blue in the passing lane once again, but
what a back and forth seesaw game we have so far. Looking for long range is Wamser. And right now, if you were to tell me that Carthage would only be able to muster 5 points, so a coach's timeout is going to be called for Carthage, and I think now's a good time to do so. The completion of that statement was, if you were to tell me that Carthage will only have 5 points 6+ minutes into the game, I'd be like, well, what happened?
Yeah, it's really felt like they haven't had, besides the 2 Carlson buckets, it's been a couple of turnovers like that. Millikin's doing a nice job of being aggressive and getting into the passing lane, but if you're Coach Jones, you got to kind of say, hey, we got to take care of the ball a little bit better here. We got to slow it down. They're 2 of 7 from the field, but it's really haven't like they've got into any kind of offensive groove. And Millikin, credit to them, they're being aggressive and stealing the ball and, getting some fast break points of their own.
Last time these two teams met was Feb the 17th of 2024. That was a 3-point victory for Big Blue. And in that contest, they started out leading in the first quarter 25-20, and it just was a hole that Carthage could not climb out of in time. They are tied all time, 15-15. I mean, it's as even as a rivalry as you're going to get, dating all the way back to 2010, which was a 62-41 victory. But point being, Carthage needs to find a little bit more offensively, and the turnovers right now very uncharacteristic.
Well, yeah, and then when Millikin can get those turnovers, Carthage can't set up that press that they like to do, so it really, it kind of covers two things for Millikin. Is not only are they getting fast breaks, but they're, getting kind of taking away one of Carthage's strengths in that press.
Looking for the left baseline shot, good. What a smooth stroke by Emily Brenneisen. We've said her name here for years at Tarble Arena. A thorn in the side of the Firebirds. Millikin doubling up the Birds.
Yeah, you can tell she's all over the floor. She's taking threes, driving to the basket, and there she's staying active and got a open jumper on the wing and knocked it down.
So a jump ball opportunity. Now I want to call out the lineup right now for the Firebirds. Morrissey's in, but you have Grace Cord and Malia Green back in the lineup right now, two of your better offensive players. So this is kind of that spark plug lineup where, hey, can we find the open person, but Malia Green and Grace Cord can create their own shot as well. Two of the higher percentage shooters for this team.
The other thing you can tell, Millikin playing with a lot of confidence after that victory on Wednesday, and I think it's kind of like you can have two different seasons, a 3-10 record, as you mentioned, but two of those wins against the conference. And so when you start the CCIW season, you can kind of reset the records and go play from there. And, it looks like Millikin's really doing that.
Orozco into Cord, isolated. This is the lineup she wants, up with the right hand. The sun sets, the sun rises, and Grace Cord makes a bucket.
Yeah, I mean, how awesome has she been in that second team role where she has really been a focal point of the offense and has gotten through Carthage some tough stretches offensively, and let's see if the Firebirds continue to look towards her.
Green looks for the layup, goes up strong, hits the bottom of the backboard, thought she might have gotten contact. No whistle called.
Yeah, that you might, if you're Coach Jones, you might want to say to Malia Green there, just take it all the way. Why stop? Just keep going, take it up with the left hand, and when she stopped, that's what the defense kind of reset, and then she was kind of stuck in no man's land.
Baseline, Grace Cord, matched up one-on-one, pushing in strong. Nice fadeaway. I mean, that's just textbook by Johnson. Out of Kankakee. Got the matchup she wanted. Kinesio tape and all on her right knee. 12-7, Big Blue leads.
Yeah, that is a move that's, seems wiser than a freshman could kind of pull off, and, keeps her dribble and just is able to find a little space against Cord. And as I said, she's been effective all season for Elmhurst, and a bright future for Nicole Johnson. And how many times now has that been on the defensive end for Millikin, just getting their hands on the ball, whether it's getting steals or just kind of swatting it out of Carthage's hands.
And there's the call that Malia Green has been looking for underneath the basket. No, I think you bring up a very good point. Again, coaching point would be just go up with it. She did that time, draws the contact indeed. 12-7, a chance for Green to go to the line for two. Green, third leading scorer on the team, but on the season only 9 for 17 from the field, because usually she's so lethal from outside. They're not necessarily pressuring her from the free throw line. Green delivers.
Yeah, really, the free throw shooting is what really kept Carthage in the game on Wednesday when we mentioned that they did not make many three-pointers, and they, we talked about Malia Green and Coach Jones kind of giving her a head shake, of confidence when she knocked down 2 free throws, because that was a clutch time when they needed them, and Malia Green was able to step up and do that.
Well, that's why she's a player that Coach Jones shot up. Oh, three-pointer. Bella Dudley, the Brockton blockbuster. out of Tri-County High School. 15-9. Again, that outside shooting for Blue, we knew that was going to be where they try to find some offense today. Firebirds had their challenges on the offensive side against the Blue Jays. Looking for a three-pointer to answer back. Orozco not able to find it. 8-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, and a travel called against Tellis. Carthage an opportunity to cut into this deficit. Not many games this year where the Firebirds have been held to single digits in any quarter of action. But Green's one of those players you want to heat up from the outside, try to get some penetration. Such a high percentage from the free throw line. Thistle says, make sure you talk about me. Huge three-pointer, one possession game, 15-12. Emma Thistle, your utility knife for the Firebirds.
Yeah, that was one of the best looks they had this quarter, and you know, Thistle kind of coming out around the baseline, getting a couple screens, and was wide open and knocks it down.
Driving in, baseline, Grace Court, staunch defense, looking for three, answering back at the buzzer. Mattia Tellis, the pride of Iowa City, answers back your quarter one conclusion. Big Blue 18, Carthage 12. We will take a brief timeout. Once we come back, quarter number 2, Carthage trying to push back against Big Blue.
At the start of the second quarter, Carthage basketball.
18-12 your score. Welcome back to the Firebird Broadcasting Network. I'm Peter Ferreri alongside Eric Elger. And a 3-second lane violation called against Carlson, not the way Coach Jones wanted to start quarter number 2.
You can tell right out of that break there, they're going to get it to Carlson and try to lob it into her, but couldn't get the connection and called for the 3 seconds. Great look.
Foul going to be called at the last minute.
That was a great look there by Emily Brynison. I mean, kind of able to weave it through the outstretched arms of Carlson and finds a cutter there in Mattia Tellis. And Big Blue look really confident. We talked about how well they shot it last game. They shot it over 50%, in this game over 50% in the first quarter. So it doesn't seem like they are going to go cold anytime soon here. And Carthage is going to have to change it up a little bit, make them uncomfortable, and get some stops.
You know, that was something that some people were talking about pregame is, you know, you can't necessarily look at that season record for Millikin because they're winning when it counts, and that's in conference play. Green drives. The smooth criminal for the Firebirds you've been hit by. You've been struck by. Again, smooth as silk driving in. 1914. Looking for three, left open. Rims out the side, no good. Off the foot of Tellis as she hits the ground looking for the offensive board. But again, open look for three and a chance for a offensive rebound if she wouldn't have slipped. So those are some key things right now that Carthage is going to have to adjust to.
And that was another thing, kind of a theme in last game on Wednesday, as Morrissey takes it in there. You know, Carthage had, I believe, 19 offensive rebounds against Elmhurst, and this afternoon just one, so the Big Blue doing a nice job on the boards.
Top of the key for Tellis. 3-point differential, one possession game right now. Thought about the three. Carlson forcing the drive. Foul going to be called. So Carlson will get foul number 2 called against her. And for a player that started so key this afternoon for Carthage with 2 fouls already, but the caveat being, okay, well, your backup is going to be Grace Cord, who's one of your best offensive players.
Yeah, she's really, as we mentioned, I mean, just like they almost can be kind of carbon copies of each other, how efficient they are around the basket, how well they can get their open looks, and both of them can knock down those mid-range jumpers. And, you know, Grace Cord's going to come in here, and she's going to play a big role here in the second quarter with Carlson already with 2.
Both shots up and good. Subbing in now, number 2 is going to be Nyla Carter out of Louisville, Kentucky. So lead back to 5. Better start for the Firebirds here in quarter number 2. Looking in for Grace Cord, pass a bit high. Looking for Morrissey. Morrissey looking to start things offensively. Cord looks from mid-range, can't find it. Offensive board, Malia Green kicks back out. Thistle's open for 3. Can she have another one? Couldn't find it. Knebel runs it down. Another offensive possession. Green for 3. Bang! The Malia Green Show, and we are witness this afternoon. 7 points for number 10.
There are those offensive rebounds we were talking about. I mean, Carthage getting 2-3 extra chances there, and Green said, thank you very much. I can cash that in. So you wonder if that's going to give Carthage a little, you know, it seems like they've been struggling to get a little energy, little, you know, momentum going here, and that 3 seems to have fired them up a little bit.
Shot clock winding down. Can they get a shot off? They cannot. What defense by the Firebirds, down by 2. An opportunity now to tie or take the lead.
Great defensive possession there for Carthage. I mean, anytime you get a 30-second shot clock violation, you know your defense is working, and that's their second violation they've drawn this game. So, you know, that first-ranked defense doing its part to get it back in the hands of someone like Grace Cord or Moriarty Morrissey to tie this game up.
Green thought about the 3, driving in, lost a handle, thought there was contact. Opportunity for a layup, pump fake, goes up too hard off the back iron, offensive rebound. Coming up is Emily White.
Nice job there by Knebel, able to get back and force a miss there because that looked like it was going to be an easy 2.
Oh my goodness, that fadeaway jumper almost landed again. Such confidence by Johnson. She's fun to watch for the Blue.
Yeah, I mean, she is. You can tell she's got that move down. And there's Thistle knocking down a 3. We talked about she's leading the CCIW in assists, but she doesn't always need to pass it to get some points here for the Firebird offense. She's got 2 threes now in the game.
If you leave her that wide open, she's going to take the shot. 10 versus 10, up, foul going to be called potentially against Knebel. So Firebird slim the lead. Thistle going to get a quick breather from Nora Aram. Aram, the transfer midseason last year from UIC in the Flames. Usually that top sub for Emma Thistle. First free throw up and good. And Knebel gets spelled by Orozco.
And Emily White, one of the most experienced players for the Big Blue. She's played in all 4 seasons in her career. So, you know, that senior leadership can be a huge thing in close games. And Millikin's got quite a handful of those seniors.
Driving in is Orozco, kicks out Morrissey. Driving in through the sea of blue, pulls up in the paint, no good, defensive board. Strong pass ahead. You know, one thing you mentioned is the defense is at its full strength for the Firebirds. Shot up, no good. Green tries to run it down, and I believe a foul's going to be called. Indeed, it is against the Blues, so Green was gathering possession, foul going to be called against Bella Dudley.
Yeah, that's one way to beat the Carthage trap is just throw it over the top. They're almost running like a go route. You know, you think of like Randy Moss down there. They're just chucking it down, and you know that's getting the Big Blue out in front. And they've had a lot of opportunities early in the shot clock by just beating that press by going long.
Morrissey. Wamser getting some playing time now, under 10 on the shot clock, but you want it in the hands of Morrissey, not afraid to take the layup, no good. Cord look for the board, another strong presence under the net by Johnson. Driving in, contact, charge. Nora Aram hits the ground hard. What a way to set the feet. I mean, she went flying.
that was not a cheap charge. She took all 100% of that impact, and you know, how about that from Nora Aram? Sacrificing the body to get a turnover and get the ball back for the Firebirds. Yeah, that was quite the hit, and she looks like she'll be all right.
Morrissey for the trifecta, making it rain. To quote Pitbull, fireball, 25-22.
How about that from Morrissey? She kind of missed a gimme 2, and instead of taking to the hoop, she said, I'll just pop it from here.
Carthage, what a run in quarter number 2 off of Aram's foot. If you would have told me in quarter number 1, after it was 18-12 Millikin over Carthage, it is a 13-4 differential in quarter number 2. Timeout called on the court, and we will stay here. I'm Peter Ferreri alongside Eric Elger. Eric, there's a lot of things that have been different for this Firebird squad in quarter number 2. Talk us through it.
We'll take a look at some of the plays they made here. And here for the Big Blue, knocking down a 3. I believe that was at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
But really, Carthage, I mean, I think what has been the difference is, as we see Knebel getting an offensive rebound, is, you know, they've been able to crash the boards, get a couple more offensive rebounds, and really comes down to knocking down some threes. That's helped them a lot. And taking care of the ball as well. They've really cut down on some of those steals and fast break points that Millikin got in the first quarter. And, you know, someone like Thistle, she can get hot from behind the arc. That can be a huge danger to any team. And there you see Cord. What a pass out of the defense there, and finding Morrissey wide open as she was confident and just stepped in to take that 3. But I think also, too, they've really moved the ball around a lot. And it seems like Millikin's not quite getting in the same, you know, they're rotating a lot, and it seems they're late to close out on someone like Morrissey or someone like Thistle. And Carthage passing the ball, cutting, moving, that's really led to these open looks that they got here so far in the second.
25-22 your score. I mean, some runs to talk about right now. It is a 13-3 run for the Firebirds. Millikin scoreless in their last minute and a half, and they're only 1 for 5 for their last 5, but the huge differential for Carthage. They are 4 out of their last 5 from 3. They didn't even make 4 3-pointers on Wednesday night. I mean, it was a dry spell, and they still came out victorious. And so the resolve, the maturity of this Carthage team that might have been a challenge in years past, not anymore. Baseline jumper, hits the rim, no good. Orozco with the rebound. So the 1-2 punch now, Orozco and Cord. Wamser giving a spell to Malia Green. Still have Morrissey on the court. And Aram had a career day. Oh, I believe Aram might have stepped on the line.
Yeah, stepping out of bounds there, but I really liked what we've seen out of Aram on the defensive end, taking the charge earlier, and there she just, stuck into number 7, Mattia Tellis, and she could not get a real good look. And sometimes that defensive effort is what leads to success in the offensive end, and Aram's done a nice job of locking it up on this end.
Driving in. Oh, nice Euro step. Just couldn't find it. Offensive board. Follows it up herself. Floats up with the right hand. Tellis, is she fun to watch? Your 4th leading scorer, averaging 9 points a game, up to 6 so far.
Another one of those seniors. And
Yep.
you can see she's comfortable, confident, and yeah, what you mentioned, that was a nice Euro step, but stuck around and gets the offensive rebound.
Orozco able to deliver.
She can be kind of that quick, instant offense for the Firebirds, and there you can see strong take to the basket and a nice 2-point for Orozco.
Driving right baseline. Nice switch. Right hand to left. Foul going to be called. And that's the nice part about being a lefty by Bryn Eisen, is when you're driving with your right hand and you're able to do that quick switch to your left shooting hand, they're going to foul trying to make that transition. I would know because I'm a lefty. That's one of the few moves I have is like, okay, dribble with the right, because it's just that different vantage point.
Yeah, it's almost you can kind of like scoop it under like where the defender's arms are. And, I mean, you got to love Emily Brennison's game, too. I mean, just like the way she can take it to the basket, and she likes to shoot from outside, but, she was able to kind of get almost a screen off of Johnson there, and that's what opened up the look for her.
So they're saying deflected off of Grace. Okay, so a change. So they were saying off of Grace Cord, but the near side official overruled. Head coach Kristen Hammer not quite happy about that, overturned. She's joined by Mallory Leibel, Bill Dobrik, and Addie Mills and Elena Terry, your coaching staff for the visiting Blue. 1-point lead for the Firebirds, looking to extend things. Officials today, Ashley Logan, Tim Duffany, and Greg Slater. Orozco looks for 3. Rims out, couldn't find it. This is one of those lineups, though, if you really look at the depth of the Firebirds, this is all offense, not much so crashing the boards. As Knebel, Carlson not in the lineup.
Yeah, it's kind of a unique lineup
Yeah.
that we don't see very often. So sometimes with those lineups, it's on the offensive end, who's their go-to player here.
Shot up through the sea of hands. Nice offensive board. As the shot, they're saying expired before. Once again, head coach Hammer not happy about it, but again, from our vantage point up here in the rafters, the light showed while the ball was in her hand. I feel that's a good call.
Yeah, it was close.
It was.
And you can see again, Johnson goes to work in the paint, and she is tough, and you can see the strength, and that was if she gets that shot off a second earlier, it's 2 points for the Big Blue.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons she's one of the best scorers in all of the CCIW. Shades a Chicago Sky member, Angel Reese, just how she's able to get the shot, create the shot, and even if it's not there, she'll make it. The no-look pass for 3. Just a slight rim out. That would have been fun if it went down, but nonetheless, still a 1-point lead for the Firebirds. Blue going to have a sub in just a moment. Let's see if they can free open Green. Orozco takes a 3 of her own, contested.
I think the shot clock was reset, but I don't know if Orozco got
I
any
don't
of the
believe,
iron.
yes, I think you are correct. I don't think she hit the iron, but again, if you are the bench, you aren't necessarily seeing that. So they're going to let the sub happen, and they're going to take 5 seconds off the shot clock.
Yeah,
I think that's the right call.
Yeah, that's the opposite side of where our amazing table crew are, and yeah, that's a tough one to be able to see. And I got to respect the shot clock operator. It seems to me to be a stressful job,
Yeah.
and kind of knowing the rules and when to reset it and whatnot. And you see Orozco there getting aggressive down the baseline.
All right, so they're bringing in Morrissey for a ROM. So Thistle, Cord, Orozco, and Green. So off of this break, if they go short to Morrissey, there they do. She can hold on to it for the final shot if she wants to. Backing in, double teamed, Cord from right outside the elbow, bang! Striking a Cord, up by 3. What a play for the Firebirds.
And there you can see Millikin again, just throwing it long to midcourt, and it really kind of snaps the press of Carthage, and I'm not sure what this timeout is.
Well, it was it was another official's whistle. I don't know if it was the shot clock hadn't started quickly enough.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if they should have 14 seconds only on the shot clock.
I feel
correct?
It should be more. Is that your dad down there on the bench today?
That is not.
Okay.
No. We don't have to. I'll go down. I would go down there, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, and sometimes too the clock can have some.
There it is. Okay.
Funny kind of malfunction. We've seen a few technical things happen with the shot clock, but we got to reset here.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell more about my shot clock knowledge and its limited amount in the second half of action, but about a 12-second differential shot clock and the game clock. Blue more than content to try to tie it up or at least get within 1 and not leave the Firebirds much time left. Oh, wide open spaces driving in, and foul going to be called.
That was a really nice set from
Yes,
Millikin.
it was. Oh, my goodness. It had multiple Firebirds fooled as they converged on the ball handler.
And they were just, able to set the screen there, and Bella Dudley found wide open space, and a good foul there from Grace Cord. You know, that was all intents and purposes probably going to be an automatic 2, so make them earn it at the stripe.
Shot up and good. So that's actually what you want if you're the Firebirds, to not necessarily have a chance for an offensive board. Game clock off. 15 remaining in the half. Firebirds up by 1, a chance to extend the lead. Cord, she wants a three-pointer. Why not? Grace Cord, the sophomore power forward, forcing an ill-advised pass. 9/10 of a second yet. Second quarter of the ages for Carthage.
Millikin was not expecting that for sure. It's just their second 3 of the season.
Thistle tried for the long-range 3 off the hip, not able to find it, but that's going to give the Firebirds a reason to celebrate, outscoring Millikin 20-10 in the second quarter, leading them, or resulting in a lead of 32-28. Eric, before we take a timeout, thoughts on what we saw in quarter number 2? What a turn of events.
I mean, we said when Grace Cord came onto the court to relieve Emma Carlson, she is dangerous, and how about that, stepping out behind the arc, knocking down a 3. It's been the hot shooting of Carthage behind the three-point arc that has led them to the lead, in the lead this game.
32-28, we'll take a timeout. Pep band, dance team, cheerleaders. We'll be back in a few minutes for the halftime report on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
Doctors of Physical Therapy, Comprehensive Orthopedics, Golden Oil Company, Lee Mechanical, Pepsi, Riley Construction, Satori Energy, Badger Bus, Bridge 410, BSN Sports, Kamosi Construction, Catalyst Exhibits, Culver's, the Stella Hotel and Ballroom, and H Imaging.
And welcome in to the halftime show here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Now, if you're just joining us, first off, welcome. Secondarily, if you're wondering why the score looks a little bit different, we can explain. So, Millikin went back, wanted to review the shot clock violation, and in the official review before halftime, it was deemed the basket did count, and so 2 points were added for Big Blue. Awesome use of the replay system. If you're Millikin, if you're Carthage, okay, well, nothing you could do against it. They went back, they watched the video, shot indeed left her fingertips before the light was on. Good review.
Yeah, I mean, it is a nice review system. I mean, if you're Coach Jones and Carthage, I mean, if they made the 2 points and should have made the 2 points, I think it makes sense to award the 2 points. So,
yeah,
I mean, that brings the halftime score here a little closer. And taking a look at some of the stats, I mean, it is pretty even all the way down. I mean, really where it stands out is the Carthage three-point shooting, 5 of 10. Got some damage done in the second quarter, but other than that, it's almost, neck and neck all the way up and down. And the other stat I want to talk about is the turnovers. I believe most of those turnovers came in the first quarter where Carthage was struggling, and taking care of the ball a little better led to some more opportunities for them to score.
If you would have told me, if we look at now the individual team leaders for both teams, who might be in the lead for Carthage or who might be in the lead for Millikin, I would be a little bit surprised but not shocked that Cord and Green are your two leading scorers right now. Grace Cord, 3 for 4, including a three-pointer. And the reason I think that bears mentioning is as we look at these individual leaders, you see 2 for 4 from the field, 2 boards and a turnover. Cord, 3 for 4 from the field, 3 boards. Thistle and Morrissey right behind with 6 points each. So the players like Carlson, the players like Knebel, the players like Morrissey, some aren't even on the charts right now. Morrissey's there with 6 points. But again, if you're going to rotate through and try to double team Morrissey, it's going to leave somebody open, and it's been Green and Cord.
Yeah, and they did a nice job in the second quarter, really moving the ball and finding those open looks. And to Green's credit, she got a little more aggressive, too, and taking it to the basket and was able to get a few looks by kind of sticking her nose down and getting there in those tough points in the paint. And, again, amazing. Grace Cord, I mean, what a role she plays. And, if they can continue to go inside, and really it wasn't inside for Grace Cord. I mean, a couple of shots she knocked down were mid-range or that three-pointer, but that seems to be, both Cord and Thistle, two, huge offensive outputs here in the first half.
Flipping over to the Big Blue side of things before we take our final timeout. Bella Dudley, 9 points. Brenison at 8. Tellis with 6. And Johnson, 4 points. But again, that key, crucial basket overturned, giving the Blue 2 more points. We'll take a timeout right now, go to commercial. When we come back, some more recapping of first and second quarter of action, and then previewing the second half. 32-30, we'll be back on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
Being a student athlete at Carthage, you get the best of both worlds, honestly. You get to learn, grow in the classroom, and then also be a part of the sport that you've fallen in love with since you've been playing it. You get the one-on-one support from the teachers, and then you get the help from your teammates as well.
The athletics teams here at Carthage, they're really good. Some of the achievements that we had during this past year, the volleyball team won the national championship 2 times in a row, 2 years in a row. So it was incredible to see it because we are a unit. So it's really nice to have everyone together and cheering for just one thing.
So the athletic facilities at Carthage, they're new and improving each and every year. We have the baseball, softball, and football field that all of our athletes compete on. There is the Tark, which houses the baseball weight room. There's the actual gymnasium itself, so Tarble Arena for men's, women's basketball, volleyball. And then obviously the swimming pool that is also in the Tark, and upstairs there's the field house. We've added the Nest, which is a recovery room for all of our student athletes. There's massage guns, there's granola bars, there's other food items. So we have a lot of nice things in that room that you can sign up, take it, and it's completely for free. There's so many great opportunities. The athletic staff's super kind, your coaches care about you. There's just so much that goes into being a student athlete that it's an experience I would not take back.
The Aspire program is part of the Aspire Center, and the Aspire Center is our 4-year career and professional development program here at Carthage College. The Aspire program is really different and unique from other colleges and universities' career programs because instead of what the typical experiences of senior year trying to go get a job or an experience after college, we want students to build their experiences starting from day one. So whether that means going and finding an alumni panel that they're going to learn from an alumni about the career industry that they're excited about, or if it means getting an internship or a research experience that's going to build their portfolio, we want the students to develop and learn who they are so they can really leave Carthage with a very good sense of purpose and understanding before they actually leave the college. Every student that comes to Carthage has their own individual career specialist. This is a person who specializes in the industry field that they're going into. For example, we have a career specialist for our arts, communication, and culture students. This is a person who's been working as a graphic designer for the past 20 years. And she's responsible for helping those students get opportunities and experiences along the way.
I landed my first internship as a freshman at Deloitte, which is #1 of the Big 4 accounting firms in the world. Through the Aspire program, I was able to develop skills that helped me in interviews as well as networking with other professionals.
(32-30) after the halftime adjustment. I keep looking off into the crowd, and those two pep band members, Eric, you mentioned, they have been loyal to this move for years. So, good thing there are no cameras that can get as far up into the rafters as we are, because that would break the camera. But nonetheless, we digress. 32-30 for Eric Elger. I'm Peter Ferreri. We appreciate you joining us on, there we go, on the game 1 of the doubleheader on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. I mean, that takes, some coordination too, because if you miss, man, you're knocking one of those guys' glasses off.
And he does it for the full 1 minute and 20 seconds, and he's done it for the last, I would say, 4 years.
Yeah, not to date myself, it's like Tybo off in the crowd. Where's Billy Blanks?
There you go. It's a great name.
Oh, it is. Teams taking the court for the second half of action. Again, it's going to be intriguing to see how things finish up. Let's look at the 5 that are on the court for the Firebirds. It is indeed your starting 5. Carlson fouled trouble in the first quarter, did not see a lot of playing time. 10 minutes total out of the first 20. Knebel scoreless as well. Green and Cord stepping up offensively for the Firebirds.
Another player who didn't play a big role for Millikin was Kylie Block. She got 2 quick fouls, and she is a offensive threat from behind the arc, so you'd expect her to play a little bit more in the second half, and she is a key player for the Big Blue.
Yeah, Block transfer from Illinois Central College. Morrissey hands off to Thistle. Again, a strong first quarter for the Blue, a strong second quarter for the Carthage Firebirds, and that has led us to a 2-point differential. First possession for Carthage in quarter number 2, and a jump ball going to be called. Possession stays with the Firebirds. So a little bit of a misguided pass by Thistle into a sea of blue, and just the length of Carlson forcing her way to be able to retain this possession.
Yeah, that look was there for a second, and this Thistle just a little slow to react, and the Big Blues defense reacted.
Driving in, Carlson floats up with the right hand, rims out, no good. Offensive board. Morrissey kicks out Knebel. Nice offensive follow through by Morrissey. Driving in, floats it up strong with both hands, no foul called. This is kind of how quarter number 1 started for Carthage. Getting some opportunities, albeit toughly contested, just not able to deliver. Floating in for Knebel, who touched it last, and the last touch was going to be blue. That was actually number 21, Izzy Hay.
Yeah, Carthage, 2 nice defensive possessions here to start the quarter, and they've really forced the Big Blue into some tough chances, and see if Morrissey can get a bucket here.
Morrissey had the beautiful spin. Thistle with the steal. Bounce pass in, look for Malia Green, but a bit too far to the baseline where the defender Tellis was, and she comes away with a steal. And just like that, Millikin and the Blue take the lead. Beautiful shot from the outside. Kylie Block, her first bucket of the afternoon, and you mentioned she was a key contributor for Blue. Layup by Green, switched left to right hand and couldn't find the bucket.
Yeah, she's their best three-point shooter by percentage, and you can see, and you can also tell how much respect Coach Jones has for an offensive player. If just take a look at who Morrissey is guarding, because Morrissey's one of their best on-ball defenders, and it seems like 33 has been chasing around Block. She takes the steal there.
Yep, comes away with the steal. Thistle, nobody's guarding Thistle. If she wanted to pull up with a 3 of her own, decides against it. Resetting up on the near side. Zone defense right now for Big Blue. Thistle from way downtown, couldn't find it. Defensive board, White. Firebirds scoreless in their first 2.5 minutes plus of quarter number 3. Long range 3, the lefty couldn't find it. Knocked away at the last minute by Carlson. She's claiming to the officials she didn't make contact, but nonetheless, Johnson forces her way for a second possession for the Blue. Quick fire from 3. Ooh, that was close. Following through but touching the line is Tellis. And Tellis, man, she is fun to watch. She just dives after each and every possession as if it's the last of the game. And that's that hustle player you love to see.
Yeah, you really think like a lot of, the Millikin Big Blue players here are very aggressive, whether it's getting their hand in the passing lane or crashing the boards. And Matea Tellis no different than the rest of her teammates in that aggression.
Bounce pass to Morrissey, tries to float it back down. Thistle has it on the ground, and we have a jump ball. Possession arrows going to Blue.
And there's Tellis again on the floor.
Yep. She is that spark plug player that you want on your roster no matter what team you are. Doesn't matter the height, the speed, the matchup. She feels she can match up to anybody. We stated in quarter number 1, if you had told me that the Firebirds would only have 5 points near the end of quarter number 1, I would have said, what is wrong? Right now, Carthage scoreless still in the second half. Driving in, foul going to be called against Carlson. That is now her 3rd foul going to be called. And let's see if they keep her in for right now. Again, not that you want any player not to have foul trouble, but Grace Cord filled in so admirably for Carlson in the foul trouble. 6.5 remaining in quarter number 3.
Yeah,
15 remaining.
I was going to say, Nickel Johnson on that drive, that last possession there, she has such an array of moves. And there's another one. She just got pump fakes. She's got, we talked about that step back, and, she has a lot of different options and ways that she can score, and she's effective in the paint.
Firebirds now trailing by 3. It is a 5-0 second half point differential. Thistle tries to lay up. She has it blocked away, but Green picks up the pieces. Somebody's going to need to shoot it. Green looks for the screen, floats it up, and a shot clock violation. So Green wanted to get it to Morrissey, but the Blue defense cut off that passing lane. The challenge for the Firebirds, however, was nobody else was moving. So Green was maybe then looking for a screen. That didn't show up. Nobody was moving for an outlet pass, and so she just had to kind of take it herself. And again, another Ill-advised possession for the Firebirds. Let's see how they can flip this around.
Yeah, I mean, if you're, you want to stop what Firebirds are good at, it's really Morrissey off the dribble, and there they just denied her even getting the ball and forced the turnover.
So kickball called. So subbing in is Cord, Aram, and Wamser.
It's been amazing to see how much of the offense kind of goes through that Nicole Johnson. I mean, you can see they're trying to get her involved on that last possession, and she can pass it out of a double team, and again, she's got a lot of moves here to get to the basket. And
the Blue not afraid to do the three, especially if you're going to continually get offensive rebounds. Now the matchup, Blue wants underneath the basket, up strong, rims out, another offensive rebound, and foul going to be called. Tellis delivers again. Back-to-back offensive rebounds. These second chance points are piling up for the Blue in quarter number 3.
Yeah, they're up to 8 offensive rebounds, and it's a lot of that. There's Tellis again, mixing it up, and just an unmatched motor, really, for number 7 on the floor, because she's been up and down off the floor. Seems like every possession, and there she's able to get the offensive rebound and knocking down the free throws. And yeah, Carthage has got to find some offensive rhythm here and tell Coach Jones, going to Nora Aram, going to Wamser, see if Orozco, see if they can find a spark.
7-0 run to start the second half of action. Tellis has not left the court so far, and a foul going to be called as Morrissey drives in, looks for the pass. It'll be a baseline inbound and officials timeout. 37-32, first foul going to be called against Brenneisen. Eric, kind of talk us through right now. It's going to be an interesting conversation. You see the coaches right now for the Firebirds, kind of throwing their hands up like, hey, we got to figure something out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Jones comes up with out of the timeout here. Morrissey drawing the foul there, and I think if you're Coach Jones, you really got to stick to what kind of got you here so far this season, whether that be Morrissey off the dribble or continue looking into Grace Cord. Those seem to be the two most reliable offensive options on the floor right now. And if you're the Carthage defense, how can you slow down what Nicole Johnson was able to do? And she didn't get the basket there last time, but off of her miss is where Tellis gets the offensive rebound. And there you can see Johnson knocking down that bucket there. But a lot of the offense running through number 22, the freshman. Where is Carthage going to turn? Because, scoreless here 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Had a tough time going here so far.
Yeah, again, Carthage, for the huge run they were on in quarter number 2, they are 1 for their last 7 from the field, including 1 for their last 9 from 3. So they started out 4 for 5 from 3, and it's now 5 for 11. So everything that was happening in a positive way in quarter number 2 for Carthage, including outscoring Millikin 20-12, it just hasn't been there. So let's see what happens with this unique lineup. Morrissey, Cord, Aram, Orozco, and Wamser is now in the contest. So Thistle getting a breather. Don't be surprised if they look for Cord down low. Wamser driving in. Nothing there. Orozco gets that penetration. She was the spark plug for the Firebirds in Wednesday's victory versus the Blue Jays, and that could have been a travel. Comes away with a steal. Aram tries to float it in, ill-advised. Morrissey gets fouled on the way up. What a sequence for the Firebirds. I wish I was in the huddle to hear what Coach Jones had to say. Boy, oh boy.
And and it seems like a couple times this afternoon that Carthage has gotten a steal and almost thrown it back right away. Aram trying to force it in down low, and fortunately for Carthage is that Millikin just tossed it right back to Morrissey underneath the hoop. And this is a game, and looks like Morrissey might have a scratch or something.
Yeah, I believe they brushed some blood off. Don't know if it was the nose or a scratch, but nonetheless at the line. 1 for 4 coming into this sequence. 2 for 5. Clutch free throws for Mariana Morrissey. one of the best to ever lace him up in Tarble Arena. No good off the front iron. So lead stays at 2 after the basket and the turnover. So a nice 3-point run for Carthage, and that's a lot to be said after they were scoreless in this entire quarter. Side rotation, Aram got knocked to the ground, turning around, and the jumper, that was all Johnson, just forcing her way to more points.
Yeah, you can see just how strong she is. Aram just kind of bounced right off her, and Johnson able to knock down that mid-range jumper, and Millikin extends it back to 4.
Wamser wants 3, front iron, no good. Grace Court, offensive rebound. Back out to Aram. You know, basketball, as cliche as it sounds, a game of matchups. Orozco underneath, floats up with the right hand, no good, and they might call an over the back on Grace Court, and indeed they do. But the story I was going to say is it's a game of matchups, and you need the matchup of Carlson to compete with Nickel Johnson. And right now, because Carlson's in foul trouble, they're just exploiting it.
And there's that press, getting a turnover.
Morrissey driving in, goes up strong, foul going to be called. And that's what you have to do right now if you're the Firebirds. If you're not finding success from the field in this third quarter, again, 2 out of your 3 points from a basket with only 3:27 remaining, is you just got to force your way inside and try to win this one at the free throw line at this point.
And really that defense leading to offense there, because if Carthage, they really struggled kind of in the half-court offense this game, and Morrissey able to get this, get a steal into the basket. But now it's, it's one thing to draw the foul on the way to the basket. It's another to knock down the key free throws. And that's going to be crucial here. And as the game goes on, those free throws, it'll be interesting to see. Sometimes whoever team makes more free throws comes out on top.
Stolen away again. Nice play by Carthage. That defense, like you stated. Timeout going to be called by Coach Jones. She is very vocal right now with the officials. But with that being said, another steal. And you bring up a great point, Eric. You brought it up before, and I think it bears mentioning again. When Carthage's defense is most, effective, is coming out of a basket. Whether it's a free throw or a regular bucket, that's when the defense is most successful. And so giving that is the story that now that they're starting to score, even though it's only 4 points in quarter number 3, the defense is lighting it up again.
Yeah, and and credit to Millikin. They've kind of found a way to have these long passes knife through the press, and there Orozco just taking it to the basket. And she has, again, been time and time again an offensive spark plug. And there, Nickel Johnson around, just, really no match there. And what a jumper by the talented freshman. But if you're Coach Jones, again, I think you got to say, let's stay aggressive on defense. Let's keep, forcing them to speed it up, get some turnovers, and, get some fast break points here.
39-36. Carthage still sits 1 for their last 9 from the field. So, it's a game of runs. It's a game of advantages and disadvantages. So I'm sure that Carthage is going to try to take advantage now. Waiting to see who's going to inbound. And indeed, it's going to be Wamser. 3:14 remaining in the third. A 9-4 third quarter. Wamser now, let it be noted, has a right wrist taped up. Her right wrist is taped up. Not sure when that happened, but there nonetheless. Opportunity now for the Big Blue to extend this one-possession game.
And there's the aggression of the Carthage defense. You saw both Aram and Wamser way up, getting in the passing lane, and they forced a turnover there. And Aram's just been so steady here as a backup point guard, and she takes care of the ball and is a leader on the floor. And
Morrissey driving in, and that's the penetration shot. That is her bread and butter. Firebirds back to within one. Almost a travel, and a jump ball going to be called, so possession is going to go the way of the Firebirds. I thought when she hit the ground and slid a little bit, they might call a travel.
This has been a physical game. I would say the refs, for the most part, have not called any of those little bumps because Morrissey was really just all over Nickel Johnson and not really giving any of those nudges as fouls, so play on, say the ref.
Aram looks for the cut, finds Grace Cord, and a travel called by Grace Cord. A little bit of frustration for Cord. Again, I don't want to necessarily say one of the challenges, but that's been something probably once a game that's been called on Cord. And Blue trying to break the press, just able to do so with 1 second remaining.
Carthage continuing to play great half-court defense.
Offensive foul. I was intrigued to see if that was going to be called. Johnson threw up the left elbow, made contact with Cord. She's kind of shaking her head like, whew, that hurt.
Yeah, it's anytime you kind of get that arm extended, that's when the refs will make that call. And I mean, she almost was just doing exactly what she needed to do, was just really backing, using the strength into Cord. But when you extend that arm, the refs can't allow that, and that's where you get the ball back in the Firebird offense.
Wamser wide open if they can get it to her, but here comes in the steal once again. Cord has it stolen away. Carthage trails by 1. Wide open for 3, bang! Emily White lead back to 4. So just like that, Carthage could have taken the lead, but a beautiful steal, right hand up, Aram, no good. Tellis once again coming away with the steal, defense turning into offense. So again, you may be saying to yourself, Millikin had 3 wins on the season coming in. But boy, oh boy, they're playing a strong game, making timely baskets. And coming in for the Firebirds now, Carlson going to give Orozco a breather. And, Orozco stays in, Cord gets a breather. And Aram checks out for Thistle.
Yeah, how about the afternoon for Tellis so far? She's got 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 4 steals. You got her in fantasy CCIW here. She's really lighting up the box
really
score.
racking it up for you. Orozco drives in, fadeaway jumper, rims out, no good. Jump ball going to be called as just Johnson tries to rip it away from Morrissey, and Blue will get the possession nonetheless.
Making her presence felt as soon as she's back on the court.
So Tatum Young, not to interject, but Tatum Young was in, and now right back Tellis is, she needed 10 seconds to breathe. Breaking through the press. 7-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, and a foul gonna be called offensively again on Johnson.
See, that's where I think some of the, the inexperience as a freshman, just getting maybe a little too aggressive, trying to force it too much, and that's something that I would expect you to see her clean up as her career progresses. But she, getting the ball back in the hands of Carlson here.
Carlson goes up strong with the right, couldn't find the bucket. Thought there might have been a travel with 3, with 2. Looking for super long range. Hits off the backboard and no good. Well, if you are a fan of the Big Blue, this is the 3rd quarter you wanted. They outscored Carthage 12-6 in quarter number 3. Can the Firebirds bounce back, or will Millikin steal one on the road? Don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Quarter 3 has concluded. We now have 10 minutes remaining in the contest. Hello everybody, I'm Peter Ferreri alongside Eric Elger. 42-38, the Firebirds in quarter number 3 shooting 14%, 2 for 14. Millikin 4 for 13 in their own right. But again, the smallest difference is where things are at. Carthage only at 38 points for the game. So they're going to need to find some offense. Orozco looks for 3, can't find it. Morrison, and a jump ball going to be called. Mariana Morrissey fights through possession, going for blue.
Yeah, they're trying to, you can tell they're, again, noticing that these shots are just having a tough time falling. And I think Coach Jones talked about it last game when they weren't falling, really emphasis on crashing the offensive rebounds. And there they almost came up with one.
Driving in against Carlson. That's a matchup for Johnson they want underneath the hoop. There's the switch off to Carlson. Backing in, fadeaway jumper, no good. Rebound by Carlson, and that's been one of the areas that they've missed with Carlson being in foul trouble.
Yeah, great defense by Carlson, going straight up and really forcing a tough shot from Nickel Johnson there. And yeah, having Carlson back is going to be huge for the Firebirds.
So driving in is Wamser. And she gets fouled going up with the right. So that's actually the second foul on Johnson. So potentially earlier that violation was against somebody else, because we thought near the end of quarter number 3 it was against Johnson, and Wamser misses the first of 2 free throw attempts. Again, if you're the Firebirds, up and good on the second.
Yeah, Carthage just at 50% from the free throw line today.
That's all I was just going to say is, you want to win the game by getting to the line, but when you get to the line, you got to make them, and 50% isn't doing it right now. Open for 3, rims out, no good. Johnson tries to come away with it, and she does. Another offensive rebound by Johnson. Offensive foul by Johnson as she plows through Carlson. 2 out of her 3 fouls have been on the offensive side. So Johnson going to get a breather. Coming in now, number 21, Izzy Hay. Again, I'm almost surprised that they're giving Johnson that little bit of a breather, because she's everything for them right now.
Yeah, now if you're Carthage, can you get it to Carlson's got a little bit of an easier matchup on her. Getting Johnson out of there, because Johnson's just a force.
Orozco backing in, looking up and under. Kicks out. Wamser thought about it for 3. Morrissey drives in, goes up strong, and gets fouled. We've said it since about 5 minutes remaining in quarter number 3 that the difference of this game is, I feel, truly going to take place at the free throw line. Big Blue not afraid to be a bit aggressive, trying to stop any open shots, because they know that Carthage isn't shooting as high of a percentage from the free throw line this afternoon. Shot up, Morrissey rolls around, good. You take him any way you can.
Exactly, and Morrissey did just such a nice job of just blowing by the defender, going left and getting baseline, and it really matters to making these free throws here. She nails them both down.
Mariana Morrissey, one of the best to ever do it for the Firebirds, has the Birds back to within 1. That shot clock violation bucket given back to the Blue looms large. Will this game come down to a 2-point differential? Turnaround floater, left hand, no good. Carlson with the rebound. Thistle picks up the pace. Morrissey open on the left. Thistle thought about it. Carthage with a chance to regain the lead. Can they have the second quarter magic here in quarter number 4? Shot clock winding down. Orozco looks for anybody. Carlson floats it up just at the end. Couldn't find the bucket from point blank range. Millikin still up by 1. The drive, the kick, baseline, floater right hand, no good. Orozco tries to fight through. Morrissey kicks it back into Thistle. Thistle driving in, resets the offense. Looks for somebody to go to, goes off the leg of number 10, Emily White. Subbing in now, number 23, Bella Dudley.
You can tell Carthage in the offensive end really trying to get downhill, continue to attack the basket. And that has been, they must continue to do that. And how, much of a difference has Carlson made on the defensive end, just grabbing rebounds and getting her hand in shots. And, what a difference she makes when she's on the floor.
Orozco for the lead. A flamethrower. Carthage up by 2.
There's the spark plug on offense. She is confident as anyone on the floor and knocking down a 3.
Trying to answer back. Rims out, no good. Another offensive rebound for the Blue. The offensive rebounds have done nothing but wonders for Millikin. How can the offense operate with Johnson not playing and a foul going to be called against Wamser on a driving Tellis? And here indeed comes back in Johnson. As surprising as it sounds, Johnson only 8 points, but 7 rebounds and a block. Trying to regain the lead. Good. Brenison with the trifecta. Millikin back up by 1.
Yeah, we talked about the three-point shooting to start the game, and she's one of the best three-point shooters in the conference, and a clutch 3 to get them back on top.
Orozco feeling it. Rims out, no good. Who gets the rebound? Once again, the 5'6" Tellis. Cord and Green about to check in for the Firebirds. Millikin up by 1, chance to extend that lead. A crucial conference game. Carthage right now sits at number 3. Millikin can make a huge statement and not only have that same record, but that tiebreaker over the Firebirds if they come away with a victory here. 5.5 remaining. Firebirds with a chance to regain the lead. Zone defense has done well thus far for Millikin. Crossover. Thistle wide open. The layup with the right hand and good.
What a crossover there. A little shake and bake, get into the lane. And a huge bucket for the Firebirds as they go back up on top now.
Timeout going to be called by Millikin. 46-45. Full timeout. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, it's been, what's interesting is how almost kind of a reverse of Wednesday night this has been. I mean, Carthage on Wednesday were by far the dominant team on the rebounding side. Here today, they're getting out-rebounded 36-24. On Wednesday, they couldn't shoot the 3 that well. Today, they're shooting 40% from the 3. So Carthage kind of winning 2, or at least leading this game, but 2 different complete styles of game for the Firebirds. And this game's been a little more physical. It's taken a lot to handle someone like Nicole Johnson down low, but credit to Carthage. They kind of got through that big run from Millikin and have gotten the lead, and they just keep hanging around. It's Thistle there. You saw that drive. And,
yeah.
What an all-around game she can have. And, someone being as, not the tallest player in the court, it's amazing how she can get to the basket and get those shots off, and just a well-rounded player for the Firebirds.
46-45. We appreciate you being with us on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. I'm Peter Ferreri. Looking at the next broadcast, Augustana, Saturday the 25th. So a little bit of a break at home for Carthage as they hit the road. Would love nothing more than to have this, for all intents and purposes, gutsy win versus Millikin. A hungry Millikin team.
Yeah, credit to Millikin. I mean, they do not look like a 3-10 team to me. I mean, that's why they've won those 2 games in conference.
3-second violation on Johnson. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Johnson trying to get in there, go to work, and credit to the refs saying, hey, Can't be in there that long.
Knevel in the contest along with Green. Gets it into Grace Cord. Carlson getting that final breather. Cord's your offense, fighting against Johnson. Cord goes up too strong and it hits the top of the backboard. She was looking for contact and didn't get it.
See, there if you're Cord, it's almost like there are too many defenders kind of hovering around. Can you find she's done a really good job of those skip passes and reversing it. Looked like she kind of needed one of those there and forced up a shot against the tough presence.
Just about 4:15 remaining in the contest. Plenty of game left. Knevel forces a tough shot, but going to the line for two is going to be Emily White. White coming into this game is a 700 free throw shooter. So Millikin more than happy with that being who's going to the line.
Yeah, you look at the lineup now for Millikin down the stretch. It's senior. 4 seniors and 1 freshman. So, this is a team that's been there. The only person has not has been the talented Nicole Johnson. So they really have, quite a tough lineup here to throw at Carthage right now.
Carthage once again down by 1. Seesaw battle, almost a steal for Tellis. So Aram in the game. Cord, long range 2. Rims out, no good. And Millikin with a chance to make this a 2-possession game.
Yeah, you said seesaw affair. There's been 14 lead changes this game already. It's the beauty of the CCIW. Every game comes down to the wire. What a fun conference and fun game to be a part of here this afternoon.
Top of the key. Tellis hands off. Brennison's been lethal from outside. Trying to add on to it. Rims out, no good. Thistle fighting through, and the foul going to be called against Tellis. Thistle with a one-armed rebound. 4th foul for Blue.
Yeah, Tellis was really coming around the corner there, and awesome job there by Thistle to just get enough of her to keep her off that rebound and draw on the foul. Be interesting to see where they turn here. They've really gotten it to Cord.
Aram into Morrissey. Offensive foul. Aram. Boy, oh boy, last 2 possessions, not pretty for Carthage. Carlson coming back in for Cord. So this is the lineup that the Firebirds are going to try to take it home now. Your 2 guards, Carlson, Morrissey, and Orozco. Orozco just that one more added offensive piece. Almost thrown out of play, but good job picking up the pieces as Blue. Under 3 remaining in the contest. Carthage trails by 1. Quiet 4th quarter for Johnson. The turnaround jumper, floating in, right hand foul.
What a move there by Brennison. I mean, you got to respect their 3-point shot. Thistle came out there and then just went to a couple spin moves and, was able to get the contact. And, yeah, Millikin has a lot of players to lean on here down the stretch. We've talked about someone like Tellis who can get to the basket, and Brennison has been there, game after game for this team this season.
A rare miss for Brennison. 27 for 33. She's an 8-20 free throw shooter. A crucial miss as Millikin will still only be up by 2 if she makes it, and she does. Pass up to head to Morrissey. Carthage now looking to tie the ball game with a 2, can take the lead with a 3. Game 1 of a doubleheader. Orozco underneath, wide open layup with the right hand and good. Orozco The firecracker, nowhere to go. They're going to call a foul. Oh, a timeout called by Millikin. Oh, that was close. They were about to lose possession, Eric. What a timely timeout for Millikin. We are tied at 48 apiece, 2:25 remaining in the game. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, really, what a call there from the coach. I mean, she saw her team was trapped there, and let's take a look at this last possession by Orozco. You could tell Emily White trying to get a charge. They call the flop there, and Orozco able to keep calm, waited out, and got the basket.
Yeah, that was a crucial call because not only does it take the foul away, the potential of the foul also gives Orozco an opportunity for the bucket. And again, it looked like the defender, White, was already leaning back a little bit, so the slightest of contact, she was going to go. A massive possession now for Millikin. Carthage won for their last 5 from the field. Millikin has gone to the line in recent possessions. Driving in, looking for the pass. Was open, decided not to take the 3. Driving in, left-hand layup, no good. Orozco with a rebound. What an impact she's had.
Yeah, Carthage is out of rotation there, and Emily White able to get all the way to the basket, but not able to get the bucket.
Orozco, pump fake. Foul going to be called against White. Carthage an opportunity with 1:58 remaining to take the lead. The free throw line is where it'll be. For Alyssa Orozco, a 800 free throw shooter from the line. So absolutely a key player you want at the line if you're the Firebirds.
Yeah, she has really stepped up here in the 4th quarter. I mean, it seems like they're, her teammates are looking for it, and they're just letting her go to work.
Yep. Orozco, first time at the free throw line today. Second one good. The biggest lead for the Firebirds in the second half since they came into the third, 32-30. Now Millikin feels the pressure. Can they get Johnson in a matchup down low? Carlson in the contest really has taken Johnson out of the rhythm. Floater in, Johnson goes up strong with the right hand, ties it up. Johnson slipping around the defense of Carlson, and exactly what you wanted if you're Big Blue.
Yeah, nice entry pass there to get her the ball, and Thistle tried to come over, but a little too late.
Almost a steal. The up, the under, the foul. Johnson now with foul number 4. Emma Thistle going to the line, and if you are the Firebirds, Thistle, a 680 free throw shooter, 2 of the biggest of her career. Up and good. Right now, if you're Carthage, the next time you get on the offensive side, I would not be surprised if they just immediately go at Johnson. Try to get that 5th foul, try to get her out of the game. Here's that full court press. Up ahead to the freshman Johnson. She picks up the dribble. Trapped by Orozco, hands it off to Tellis. Millikin a chance to tie or take the lead with a 3. The time is now for the Firebird defense to stand tall. 10 remaining, 3-pointer, good. Brenison, ice in her veins. 15 points for the second leading scorer. She averages 11 a game. What a shot.
Yeah, Carthage got a little out of rotation there. I mean, it ended up with Emma Carlson having to defend someone like Bryneson all the way out in the 3-point line, and just gave her a little too much daylight, and someone with the confidence and the ability of Bryneson knocking down a huge clutch 3-pointer here.
Yeah, just the rotation, so key right now as we relook at the play that got them tied. Again, just that good placement by Johnson.
And here you'll see Carlson kind of drift off of Berniasen.
Oh, the no look.
And just right there.
Yeah, that was, oh boy, wide open. And you mentioned it earlier, Kylie Block, what she brings to this Blue squad was staring down her defender. Carlson started drifting back in, not necessarily expecting the pass back out to Berniasen. And just like that, Millikin 53, Carthage 52. The Firebirds still 1 for 5 out of their last 5 from the field. But again, we mentioned it the last time that Thistle was just at the line to give the Firebirds that 2-point lead. 5 fouls for Millikin, 4 fouls individually speaking for Johnson. Don't be surprised if they try to attack.
And Carthage, if they get fouled here, they're going to the free throw line. So free throws all the way home here on every foul.
Thistle, the crossover, offensive foul, but the baseline official. And a timeout going to be called by Millikin. Wow. What a sequence. But again, Thistle had the crossover, but then leaned in a little bit while she was driving in. Close call, to say the least. But a smart timeout by Millikin. You get your rotation, you get your play called, and you say to yourself, there is a 14-second differential in the shot clock and game clock. So yes, we're only up by 1, but 2 things need to happen. 1, we need to use as much of the shot clock as possible, and 2, if we get a basket, even if it's a 2-pointer, it's a 3-point game. If they can come away with another 3, that could be all she wrote.
Yeah, we know there are dangerous out there too, and you mentioned also is how good of a free throw shooting team the Millikin can be. So, any foul, any slip up here, they're going to the line. But, I think if you're Coach Jones, you're telling your team, let's defend straight up. If we can get a steal, let's get to it. Otherwise, they need to stop.
And if you're Carthage, you don't want to foul. There was that pump fake for 3. 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Can the Firebirds stand tall defensively one more time? 10 seconds. Hits the ground. 5 seconds. The screen. Thinking about the step back. Driving in. A foul called. Grace Wamser.
Yeah, just by the signal from the ref, I think they got that 2-hand rule. So Wamser giving the foul to one of the top 10 free throw shooters in the conference.
Exactly what you didn't want. Can she make the second? She does. That's an 800 free throw shooter. And just like that, the Firebirds, who had the lead moments ago, then a chance to regain the lead after the 3-pointer. Offensive foul by Thistle, and Millikin getting exactly what they wanted. Used almost the entirety of the shot clock, and then as close to a hand foul as you can get, and then Millikin goes to the line and gets 2. I mean, it's exactly what Millikin wanted.
Yeah, I mean, really, they stayed patient, ran their set, and once the shot clock got down to the end, they go through Brinison, and, she is a player, just you can tell how great of a dribbler she is. She's got the vision, her head is up, and that is a handful for anyone to guard, and there she was able to draw the foul, and being, again, something to have in your arsenal is that free throw shooting, and so drawing the foul and Cooley knocking them both down.
16 seconds remain. Firebirds need a 3 to tie. Thistle kicks out. Orozco, can she find the tie? No good off the backboard. Thistle has to run it down. 8 seconds remain. Orozco, step back for the tie. Front of the rim, no good. Wamser trying to force it up. No foul called, and time will expire. And the final in Kenosha, the 3-win Big Blue of Millikin with the huge upset of Carthage, 55-52. Eric, thoughts before we go to the postgame show with Coach Jones in a few minutes?
I mean, we talked about how the record for Millikin is very misleading. They had a big win again Wednesday, and they really stuck to what they did well last game, and it comes down to just a senior-laden squad, and, you know, they had opportunities. Carthage in the second half just couldn't get over the line, and credit to Millikin. They're going to be a handful. I don't think they're going anywhere in this conference.
We'll take a timeout. When we come back, post-game show with Coach Jones. Lot to discuss on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
More Firebirds basketball coming up as your men take the court next, right here in Tarble Arena.
Here on the postgame show. Here on the postgame show with Coach Jones. Coach, no other way to put it, that's a tough one. Talk to us through what the conversation was with the team afterward.
Yeah, I said we got outworked for 30 minutes. I think we outworked them for about 10, and that's just not good enough to win conference games and to let them come into our own court and out-rebound us by 10. We only had 6 assists to our 15 turnovers. It just wasn't the style that we play. And I told them, you know, this is a reality check. It doesn't get any easier here, and we have to let go of this one, learn from it pretty quickly to be able to bounce back and play the #1 team in the conference, the #2 team in the country.
Yeah, you mentioned the rebounding differential today. After, you know, offensive rebounding was such a big part of the game on Wednesday. What did Millikin do that made it so tough to grab and fight with them in the rebounding area?
Yeah, 22, Nikel Johnson, their post player, is a really strong physical player. And I felt like she really controlled a lot when she was in the game. And then we just weren't securing the ball some of the time. And then didn't have 4 people crashing on the offensive end. Only ended up with 9 offensive rebounds. We needed to have 4 people running in there every time. And sometimes I think we had 2 or 3, but not 4.
And Orozco's really seemed to step up offensively in the second half for your team. And she's been a valuable piece off the bench. You know, what have you seen out of Alyssa Orozco lately?
Yeah, she bailed us out there a couple times when we were struggling, and she has a great little step back move that she took somebody off the dribble, and she had 2 great looks there from 3, what we drew up, and they just didn't fall. But it doesn't come down to that shot for her. She had 2 of those looks, and yeah, it doesn't come down to that. We left 6 empty points at the free throw line, and to only lose by 3, like, we have to take care of those things that we can control.
Looking ahead, Coach, again after today, heading on the road, as you mentioned, Illinois Wesleyan, Wheaton College, North Central. You're not back home for the 25th. What's it going to be like getting ready for this road trip?
Yeah, we haven't been on the road in quite a while. Honestly, we haven't been in a charter bus like that on the road since December 14th, so it's been quite a while. And so we've talked about how hard it is to play on the road, and we have to be able to bounce back after a tough loss today to get refocused for what is a really, really tough road stretch there.
Yeah, all right. Well, Coach, you know, tough one today, but best of luck regrouping the team and getting ready for the road trip.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Eric, let's talk through some of the things that Coach had to say. Again, complimentary of a Roscoe, but with that being said, as she said, it can't stop and end with her. It has to be the rest of the team.
I mean, I think when she says that she felt like her team was kind of outworked for 3/4 of the game, I mean, I think that's it says a lot in kind of what she saw out of Millikin. I mean, Millikin just really brought it to him. We talked about how physical of a game it was, and for Millikin to come out on top, plus 10 in the rebounding area. We talked about Nicole Johnson was just a huge force, and Carthage just wasn't quite able to match the physicality. And then she also mentioned the 15 turnovers.
Yeah.
So, getting out rebounding and giving the ball up, that's a recipe for disaster sometimes.
Yeah, looking at some of these numbers, both teams making 6 3-pointers. Millikin, however, the Brenison 3 to really put the clamps down on Carthage. The offensive rebounds, though, just absolutely crucial for Millikin. Points off turnovers, the biggest one right there. 15 second chance points. With the defense that Carthage has, it's something that just can't happen if you're going to find success in the CCIW.
Yeah, and I would even say, like, the defense, Carthage was pretty much there, but just, I think the offensive rebounding side of it, giving those so many up, they got just out physicaled, and, I expect Coach Jones to get this team regrouped and, got a tough one on the road, and I would expect the Firebirds to be a lot more aggressive and more physical, and to see if they bring the energy of the next game.
Yeah, again, the fun part is over as it's now truly in the thick of things. Let's look ahead for what is upcoming on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Of course, the men warming up right now. They start in just about 23 minutes. But after that, men's basketball next Wednesday against North Central. Thursday, women's wrestling and men's wrestling back-to-back. Wednesday the 22nd, men's basketball versus the Pios of Carroll. And then back here, the doubleheader, the 25th versus Augustana. Firebirds back at home for that one. As for Millikin, they take on Elmhurst Wednesday, January 15th. That is going to be oh so important. And Carthage again on the road at Illinois Wesleyan, 7 o'clock Wednesday, January the 15th. Again, we want to thank you all for being with us. Game 1 of the doubleheader against Millikin. A absolute huge win for Big Blue on the road. For Peter Ferreri, I thank you for being with us. For executive producer Mike Love, producer John Voinovich, assistant producer Laura. For Morgan, Zoe, Addison, Emma, Yam, and Natasha, this program is in a presentation of Firebird Broadcast Productions in Carthage College, copyright 2025. Once again, for Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. 55-52 your final men's game coming up in just about 20 minutes. Don't go anywhere.